Right, so in today's video, the garden renovation finally begins. This is part 2, so if you do want to see part 1 where I planned out where I wanted things to go, there's a link in the description and there should be a link somewhere on screen now too. So I started off by putting out some string line, measuring exactly where I wanted the retaining sleeper wall to go. So the idea is we're going to have a retaining sleeper wall that's going to run across the garden and it's going to run parallel to the house. Now we have a bit of an issue with the wall being a bit of a funny angle towards the back, but we do have a plan for that. And you can see this part here now, we've got a square marked out where we want the patio to go. We've measured out sort of a rough idea of where we would want like a corner suite to be. And then behind that square, we can just fill it with stones. So we've got a place for a parasol or to put plants, something along those lines. Now, I did go out and buy some new tools for this. So I bought a shovel, which I didn't really end up using much in the end. And I also bought a pick as well. The reason being is because when we laid the turf last year, we realised that the ground was just thick, full of clay. And from looking online, people have said, you know, a pick's a good way of digging through the clay. It makes easy work of it. Now, I wouldn't recommend using the pick straight away like I did. First off, it gave me about 1 million blisters on my hands. Secondly, it was tough on the back and the shoulders, swinging it constantly because it is quite heavy. And also, the shovel's a much better tool to use to dig into the ground. Now, we only realised this later on, but for the rest of the garden, when it comes to taking up the grass and that initial chunk of soil, I'll definitely be sticking to using the spade. Right, so far, for the width of the trench, go from here all the way down to the end, digging out the actual grass and then going down about 2 foot. I'm honestly at that point now where I wish we hadn't started, but we have. So, got to finish and yeah, let's see how we get on. However, the pick did come in really handy when it came to having big rocky areas or really big chunks of clay that the shovel just couldn't get through. The pick was really useful just at breaking up all that hard matter and being able to get it out. We found that one really easy way of doing things as well was to break up the loose bit of dirt at the side and clay, push it out to the side and then just scooping it out by hand. I found shoveling that out was quite tough on the back, and with the amount of digging we're going to have to do over the next few weeks, I thought the best thing was just to do that bit by hand as opposed to leaning down constantly and taking shovelfuls and scooping them onto the top part of the garden. Now, the reason why we're chucking all the loose parts of dirt and clay onto the top layer is because this level here is going to be a little bit higher than what it is at the moment. It's probably going to be maybe half a foot to a foot higher than it currently is. And over time, we're going to break up this dirt as it sits in the sun, and then we can rake it out and use that to get an initial level of the top level before we actually put the patio and the grass down on the other side. Right, so the trench so far is looking quite good. We're about half a foot deep at the moment. So you can see I did a lot of digging off camera. I basically made the trench much wider than it was. Reason being, it just gives me more space when it comes to actually setting the sleepers in place. And another thing as well is I dug a trench down the centre of the garden. And the reason I did this was to get an idea of what sort of level we were going to have of the turf at the front, from the front of the garden to the back of the garden. Now, some advice I've been given from a couple of different landscapers who we had around said that it wouldn't be ideal to make that bottom layer completely flat. And the reason being is because where I live, a lot of the ground is just thick, full of clay. And even though I'm going to be putting about 6 inches worth of topsoil down to set that base for the turf at the front, having it flat is just going to create a massive pool. So we're going to have a slight incline to it, but hopefully an incline that isn't too drastic. And I know now it's not very drastic, but it will be a little bit less than what we currently have at the moment. You can see the difference in the ground levels as well, where we only have maybe an inch at most, an inch, possibly 2 inches in the best places of topsoil at the moment compared to the thick layer of clay underneath. And what we are going to do is try and dig as much of this out as we can and replace it with some quality topsoil, and and then have some nice maybe 50-50 sand to topsoil ratio for that top layer going across to get a nice even level before we do put any grass seed down. So the next stage is to dig that back trench a little bit deeper, get it to the correct level that I need it to be, dig out a smaller trench ready for the sleepers to fit into. And hopefully in the next video, I'll be doing some prep work and laying some hardcore in the trench ready to set the sleepers in place. So if you did enjoy watching this video and you do want to follow along and see how the progress goes with renovating my garden, feel free to subscribe. You can like the video. If you do have any advice for me, please feel free to put it in the comments below. I am by no means an expert at any of this. I am sort of learning as I go. The plans have changed maybe about 4 or 5 times now since starting a couple of days ago. So I am welcome to any ideas that people have in the comments below. And thanks for watching.